Hello everyone, welcome back to the weapons comparison series for Insurgency Sandstorm. I am Mr. Rain, and today I'm doing something a bit different. And what I'm doing today is I'm going to be taking a look at the secondaries for both factions, security and insurgent forces, and I'll be going through them by faction. So instead of it being just two guns that I'm looking at, we'll actually be looking at the whole set of guns for each faction. And with that being said, this video will be split up into two videos. On top of that, this video is inspired by a comment that was left on my last weapon comparison video. So this was requested by Radical Alt Centrist, who I was asking to see the difference between the Makarov and the Tariq. And I will be doing that in this video, and I will actually start this video by doing that. And then from there, I'll just go through the insurgent weapons, and then I'll be looking at the security in the next session. So first off, we will have the Makarov. It fires a 9 by 18 millimeter, vertical recoil of 20, horizontal of 21, velocity of 315, a fire rate of 261, a penetration of 139, a mag capacity of 8. And with an extended mag, it goes up to 12, and with a quick draw holster, helps with bringing the weapon up quicker. So that's it for the stats for the Makarov. And then I'm actually going to look at the breakdown for the Tariq while we're here. So the Tariq shoots a 9 by 19, and it has higher recoil on both vertical and horizontal, with 28 vertical and 26 horizontal. A velocity of 360, which is faster. The same fire rate, slightly higher penetration of 159, though at a penetration rate that low, it's not really going to go through walls, so just an FYI. And with an extended magazine, it will go up to 12. It's a very similar weapon, but with more recoil, it seems. So let's go ahead, take the Makarov first, which has the lower recoil, and see what it looks like.
Yeah, good to go.
So irons in most handguns and secondaries, I'm not going to complain. Like, the more simple it is, the better. And the way that I use pistols, I typically don't have to worry too much about a lot of the other things that you see with rifles and all that. So, but what I'll do for this is that I'll take a shot at this range here and just show how it runs. Try that one more time. Just a real quick recoil test, because these guns in particular do have a bit of a recoil difference. So 3, 2, 1. And so that's pretty much what you're going to see with this pistol. It's just going to be very tight. It's going to have a pop to it, like all other semi-auto weapons in this game. So let's go ahead and look at the Tariq. Alright, so we're going to take the Tariq, which has, according to the stats,
Okay, let's do it.
According to the stats, a more noticeable recoil. But first off, look at the irons. Very clean, I can't complain. Let's go ahead and just do the recoil test first. 3, 2, 1. Yep, very much more noticeable recoil. I will tell you that. So the Makarov, I was able to keep it nice and centered, and this one it really wanted to start popping up. So, I mean, they're both very low caliber, they're both 9mm weapons, and if you're really going to want to push the limits of this gun, the Makarov may get you better results at mid-range, whereas the Tariq, you're going to want to slow down your shots from one shot to the next. So let's just go ahead and run over here to the targets and just run a set real quick.
Last mag!
And then we're going to do that one more time. So yeah. If I had to choose a difference between the weapons and which one I would prefer, I would definitely prefer the Makarov. The Makarov, with it having a lower recoil, just makes it easier to spam fire. And when you're using a weapon like this, you're going to be in very close quarters and you're not really going to worry too much about wanting to compensate for recoil. And so with the way that the Tariq jumped on me, I would not be as confident using it as much as I would with the Makarov. And of course, with these weapons, I would definitely recommend grabbing the extended mag, get the extra 12 rounds in, and pretty much call it a day. So that covers the weapon comparison for the Makarov versus the Tariq. But now we're going to go into the next section of this video where I'll be looking at the rest of the Insurgent weapons for their secondaries. Alright, so we will be covering the rest of the Insurgent secondaries. So let's just go ahead and list them off real quick. Okay, so Insurgent forces have access to the Makarov, the Browning, the M1911, and the M9. So looking at these in particular, the Browning is much more similar to the Tariq than the Makarov is. So if we were to do a comparison, the Makarov, the Browning and the Tariq would actually fire a lot more similarly. That being said, the Browning starts with 13 mags base instead of 8. And with extended mags it goes up to 20. So it's definitely a much more versatile weapon because of those 20 rounds. Let's just go ahead and load it up.
Yeah, good to go.
Looking at the Browning again, irons, I'm not going to complain about any of the irons on these sidearms because none of them are really horrible. So let's go ahead and run a recoil test. 3, 2, 1. So it's going to spread out a little bit, especially at that kind of range, but all in all, it's a good, you get good clusters here and there. Relatively easy to handle. It does jump, as you'll see with a shot like those two up there and the one on the left. So just be wary of that. It feels like a pistol that you can kind of burst like 3 shots at a time and it won't jump on you too badly. So now let's go ahead and shoot our targets. It's always the fun part, just shooting targets. So let's go ahead and see how bad I do this time.
Cover me! Okay, last mag.
So about average for me. And yeah. With that done and said, let's go ahead and move on to the next weapon. So for right now, I'm actually going to skip over the 1911 because it is the strongest pistol for security side, or Insurgent side rather. And so with that, let's go ahead and look at the M9, which is a lot more similar with the Makarov and the Browning. So the M9 shoots 9mm, has a recoil of 27, horizontal of 26, velocity of 381, fire rate 261, penetration 168, a standard mag capacity of 15, and extended brings it up to 20. So again, stuck at 20 rounds maximum for security, for Insurgent forces, excuse me. And so let's go ahead and pull this up.
Green to green, dude, let's go.
Velocity of 9mm. I always prefer the 9mm M9 over most pistols. So let's go ahead and run our recoil test. 3, 2, 1. So it looks a bit erratic, but you can see by the clusters it's a bit easier to control shot after shot. It's going to feel about the same, to be honest. You see, like, it kind of moves from bottom left to upper right, bottom left to upper right. So there's not really a whole lot of difference, just depends on how much ammo you want to have in your secondary. Preferably, I would go with the M9 just out of personal preference. And again, secondaries, if you're really trying to get the most you can out of them, I would still prefer the M9 just for the base of having 15 rounds without having to include an extended magazine. So let's go ahead and shoot our targets one more time. Alright, let's go ahead and get this over with.
Whoa, hey! I'm on my last mag!
Alright. And so that's it for the M9. Let's go ahead and look at the last weapon for today, which is the 1911. So the 1911 will have the most drastic changes in comparison to the other secondaries that we've looked at so far. It fires a 45 ACP, vertical recoil of 36, horizontal recoil of 46, so the highest recoils that you're going to have. Velocity of 253, fire rate 261, penetration of 248. Again, slightly better penetration, but I won't recommend using these things through any type of walls or objects. Better off just shooting directly at the target as best as you can. Mag capacity of 7, and extended brings it up to 10. So it's very much a hand cannon in regards to the amount of damage you can cause and the amount of recoil it's going to have, and then mixing that together with the capacity, with a very low capacity of 7 rounds. So let's go ahead and pull it out.
Yeah, good to go.
And decent irons, nothing to write home about. Let's go ahead and run our recoil test. Bit of a long issue, so excuse me if I sound tired or anything. That's not at all what it is. So let's go ahead and run the recoil test with an M1911. 3, 2, 1. And yeah, all over the place, as expected. I'm going to try one more time on the far right side. But I don't expect a different result. So 3, 2, 1. I was able to keep it a little more in line this time between the up and down, but it is definitely a difficult weapon to use at a range other than close quarters. So if you're going to use this, definitely you will want to time your shots. It's not something you can really spam fire, and you just gotta be very, very cautious with how fast you're going to shoot this weapon. So let's go ahead and shoot our targets. And instead of shooting the 8, we'll actually shoot just 4, because it only has 7 rounds. So 3, 2, 1. Let me go ahead and grab another mag.
Yo, hey, I'm back on ammo, guys.
And what's it? And that's what you can expect from the 1911. It's a good gun if you want the damage, but it's really going to hurt you in regards to control. So it's a really big trade-off in regards to what you want from these weapons, from your secondary. So overall, if I had to choose which pistols I would prefer the most, or if I had to rate them from best to worst, if you want your hand cannon, there is only one to choose from, which is the 1911 for Insurgent side. If you want something that will be more controllable and have a lot more versatility, I feel that the M9 is the superior pistol that Insurgents have. With a mag capacity standard of 15 and an extended of 20, it's just an all-around what you kind of expect type of pistol. It's not going to jump on you too badly, and you're going to be able to use this in medium range if you really need to. But it will get the job done in the typical pistol scenarios. Secondary to that, I would choose the Browning, which uses a mag capacity of 13 and an extended mag of 20. So you do get a little more out of the Browning for using the extended mags. If you do want to invest the points into it, it pretty much brings it up to the same supply of points as the M9 base. And it's slightly easier to control, but it really comes down to your own personal preference between these two weapons. They are virtually identical in regards to statistics. So if you do want to use the Browning, it would probably come out cheaper than if you were trying to use the M9 fully kitted out. And then last on the list would be the Makarov, with the mag capacity of 8 and the extended of 12. The mag capacity just doesn't get up to the point of Browning. It shoots an awkward caliber of 9x18 and not the 9x19. It's slightly easier to use if you want to have a spam fire pistol, but because of the low mag capacity, you're really going to run out of ammo relatively quick. And if you're going against anyone that's using armor, you're not really going to do a whole lot of damage with that pistol. So I won't say that the Makarov is entirely useless. It does have its uses. Of course, in this game in particular, any shot to the head is a one-shot kill. Doesn't matter if you're using armor or not. So if you do want to have something that you can just headshot with, then the Makarov is your choice. If you want something that you can do a little bit of both, then your Browning and your M9 are your choices. Or if you want something that will just go straight through armor, then your 1911 would be your choice. And so that covers the weapons for the Insurgent side in regards to their secondaries. I hope you found this video informative. I know it's a bit of a long video in comparison to the others, so I'm very glad that you stuck around for the rest of it. If you found this video enjoyable, please give the video a like. And if you wish to see more videos like this, including the part 2 of this, which would be all security secondaries, then go ahead and consider subscribing. So, until next time, I am Mr. Rain, and I'll see you guys next time.